All right, here she is. 1972 Mercedes Benz 280 SE with the 4.5 liter V8. It's been in here for about 10 years. Pulling it out today. What the inside looks like. Some door cards. I think there's a speedometer in there. Dirty. It's pretty complete, if I remember. Let's take a look at the dash here. Sorry, it's dark and dirty. Lemon fresh. Well, here we are. It's really not bad. Definitely needs restored. Holes in the headline, and there's probably been mice up in there. Who knows? Ugh. Those are completely dry rotten. I love this skinny steering wheel. It's great once it gets cleaned up. Stereo's missing. I actually have a replacement Becker. It's in my other Mercedes. Factory air conditioning. If I remember, years ago, I put a can of refrigerant in here and it actually got cold. Something's a little afoul here, but that's how she looks. I'm gonna pop the hood and I'm gonna take a look at the engine. Uh-oh. Maybe we won't be popping the hood. Oh, there we go. Oh man, where's the air cleaner? This is the big V8, 4.5 liter, something. Boy, got a little work to do. If I remember right, there's a problem with the ignition system. I had to replace the water pump at some point, but I don't think I did a very good job because it's got crud all over it. And that looks empty. I think I drained it all, and that's probably why it's empty, which was probably because I didn't want to freeze. Looks like I'm missing a couple fuses. Oh, those aren't required. Okay, well, I'm gonna get it home. We're gonna get it running. I'm gonna get it clean. Get some new tires, and it's gonna be classy. All right, so today's the day I'm hoping to have a little success with the old 280 SE 4.5 liter. Let's take a look what's going on for today. All right, there she is, the beautiful 4.5 liter Mercedes Benz V8. Extremely underpowered, but that's what we got to deal with. Does sound good, by the way. Now, it's been many years since I remember this thing running. That's been in my dad's garage for 6 or 7 years. And if I remember right, we had some problems with the ignition system, so that's what we're gonna start with. In fact, I've already kind of begun. I've replaced the ignition coil and these little guys. The resistors for the ignition are not cheap, by the way. So I have those replaced. I hope I have them wired right. I might have to refer to a wiring diagram if this doesn't go right. So I kind of feel good about that. I do have a battery I'm just gonna grab from my other Mercedes 300 CD. And the only other thing I wanna do is try to purge some of the old gas that's been sitting in here. I did siphon out a bunch from the rear. So let's get the battery hooked up, maybe get some fresh gas in and see if we have any luck getting this running. Okay, making a little bit of progress. The starter would click, the relay would click, but no crank. And jacked the car up, banging on the starter, no luck. And before I freaked out, pulled the starter off, I figured let's go back to basics, check the battery connection. Sure enough, the positive terminal was all corroded. Cleaned it up, wouldn't tighten. I had to replace a little bit of the connector there. The ground was better, but the wire is very frayed, so I added a temporary ground. This is connected to the bell housing, and sure enough, get that battery hooked up good and it starts cranking over. I got some of the old fuel purged out of there. The intake's cleaned up a little bit, and I think it's about time to test to see if I got my ignition system installed correctly, and maybe give it a shot of ether. I've checked everything else, seems to be connected properly. Obviously needs a good cleaning, but at this point I'm more interested in just trying to get the car to move out of the driveway into the garage. So see if it runs. Nothing yet. All right, when I crank it, will you spray it right in that hole, okay? Lot. Well, nothing. Okay, time to do some ignition system troubleshooting. I'm really trying to keep the factory ignition system, which includes a spark amplifier, some ballast resistors, obviously the coil pack, which requires external resistors. I've got my handy dandy wiring diagram that I found on the interwebs, so I'm hoping that I can kind of work through this and get it to work. If that doesn't work, I will try to do a little bit more tomfoolery and maybe just get rid of this and pull in a different coil pack and just wire it directly into the battery, and well, I'm gonna make something work. So let me start with this. We're gonna pin out a few of these connection points and make sure I got it all right, and then we'll try again. So let's see what I can figure out. Okay, so I've been really struggling off camera to get the correct spark. I've been able to kind of track down the situation, and I'm getting good spark out of the coil pack, and it's going into the distributor cap, but it's just not coming out correctly. And I haven't quite figured out what the deal is. The cap looks good, the rotor looks good. There's nothing really going on that's concerning. I've cleaned everything just real well just to make sure. I've tested resistance, and the points even seem to be working because it was tapping correctly. But I went ahead and just bit the bullet and swapped out the points for electronic ignition wiring, but just for testing purposes. I think I've got all the spark plug wires on the right spots. Fingers crossed that I got that right. Coil pack's hooked up, I think, correctly. I followed all the instructions for the electronic ignition. I'm just going to give a squirt of just a tiny little bit of ether right in the intake there and give it a crank, and fingers crossed we get a little result here. Let's see what happens.
Okay, so that's pretty strange. I think what that is a little backfire on the compression stroke, just going ahead and firing, which means I have good compression, I think, but I don't think there's any spark. I'm gonna get out the spark plug tester and do a couple more checks, but that's disappointing. I was really hoping it would fire up there. So, whatever. Okay, a little bit of a rain delay, but back in action. I'm getting kind of frustrated with the ignition not firing, not working, so I've just decided to completely bypass the factory ignition system, and I'm just gonna literally jumper the coil pack directly to the battery to the plus side. I've got the ignition system grounded and set up correctly as well. I got it right, I hope. All right, let's try it. On this ignition, and it won't be long, we're going to get it driving. That's fantastic. Gosh, it's been a long time coming.